Hey everybody, this is Tom Noble from Southern Scribbles, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the third week of the Southern Scribbles journey through owning a Glowforge. If you have not yet done so, please like and subscribe and hit the little bell notification button at the bottom so that you can get notified every single time that we upload content. That being said, today was supposed to be a bright, cheery episode about us doing a project. Unfortunately, in the middle of that project, things went awry and the project did not turn out super well. So today is a video on how not to do a project. And unfortunately, I have to suffer at this video because things did not go the way I wanted to. Unfortunately, that is a part of this business, and it is something that we have to go through when owning either a CNC, a Glowforge, or any other machine that connects to a computer that does things. Sometimes you are going to have glitches. It is unfortunate. It is super frustrating. It is one of those things that I wish would never happen, but yet it sometimes does. So today, I am going to walk you through the journey of what I was going to show you and then also how it turned out, unfortunately. So please, thank you, and I hope that you enjoy. Today, we are going to take a little bit different path from what we've talked about the previous 2 weeks, and we're going to actually start talking about a project that we're doing. This project is something that you will encounter oftentimes after you've owned a Glowforge. People always ask you to engrave things, but one of the most popular things for people to want engraved is, in fact, a cutting board. So what we've done is we went out to Pop Shelf. This store had a cutting board, and we really liked the look of it. So we went out and we bought it, and now we're going to bring it back, and we are going to put on a little design in the center. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So we've actually pulled down a design from Etsy that we really liked. And the reason we went with this design from Etsy was because we think that it's a really good idea to support other creators when at all possible. It was only a couple dollars, so it's definitely worth the purchase. So to get started, we are going to go ahead and click on this design. I've already downloaded, uploaded it, and as you notice, see now here we've got this design that's overlaid on our board. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to catch this, and I'm going to go ahead and expand it just a little bit. And I'm going to loosely center it up here. I think that looks about pretty good. Now, one thing that you need to notice here is that the camera is not exactly true. It's a bit of a fisheye. It took me a minute to get used to this, and there is a little bit of adjustment that you have to go through to get this, but nonetheless, there is a trick that you should always do, and that is to do the set focus. So the set focus, and I like to do this right over where I'm going to do this, right over where I'm going to print my design. So if you notice over here in the top right hand corner, it is saying focusing. And what's happening on the machine is that the machine is actually moving the laser to that spot, and it's going to refocus the laser depth, and it's going to refocus everything kind of to that point. So it takes just a few seconds, but it's totally worth it. See, it says ready, but now it's actually, if you notice it, it's actually the camera view changed, right? So now that my camera view changed a little bit, I'm thinking maybe I want this just a tad bit bigger. I'm kind of utilizing this line here. You can kind of see the line in the wood as kind of a center line. It's a little bit tricky because it is a little bit off. It's not exactly straight. It kind of goes at an angle. As you can see here, this little section of wood is a little bit shorter than the section, than the darkness over here. So kind of lining it up with this top line, which I think seems to be a little straight, and as I laid it in the bed, I kind of thought that as well. Then I'm just kind of guessing a little bit here from side to side. If you want to get really particular about it, there's a path that you can do where sometimes if it's something's very mission critical, what you can do is you can actually put down a piece of cardboard and lightly etch what you're trying to print, and it will show you exactly where it's going to print. You set your material right over top of that, and you can print to ensure that everything is exactly the way that you want it. Over here, these settings here, I'm just going to adjust them very slightly because I did a little bit of a research for this cutting board on
on the Facebook forum, and a lot of people had really good luck about with the speed at 1,000, the power at 100, and the lines per inch at 221. The focus height, I'm doing the auto, and that is where I did the set focus option here. It looks pretty good, I think. It looks like a pretty good centering. If you notice, if you can read this, the snacks are gone and it's time to go home. Okay, so I think this is actually a pretty good spot. Another note, notice that it says unknown material here. That's because, see this over here on this backhand side, there's this little QR code. On the Glowforge site where they have their own proof grade material, this little setting here tells you exactly what it is, and you can actually click here and you can have just a bunch of different predefined settings here, but this is an uncertified material and it's auto, so I'm good to go here. Now we are going to be able to click ready and see it is going to come up here and prepare to print. Print stopped, unable to complete the print. The material must be less than 0.5 inches within the tray or between 1.5 to 2 inches within the tray. This is because I took out the tray and it is a little bit too low actually away from it. It's probably just below 2 inches. What I need to do is I need to actually go ahead and adjust this. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to recheck. We're going to do another set focus here and boop. And so again, the head is going back into the focusing section and you'll notice that it's still focusing. That's okay. We want to make sure that everything is back and getting the height that we need. And oh, see, look at that. Okay, so see, we've adjusted the height a little bit. We've adjusted the focus. And so I actually am going to readjust just a little bit. And I think that looks pretty good. You know, the one thing that I didn't do that I probably will do here before I actually print is I'll probably go ahead and put some masking tape over this so that in fact it doesn't actually burn over and make kind of a mess. I really like to mask. It takes a little bit longer, but I really like to do that. Okay, so I'm just gonna hit ready to print here. Make sure we're good to go. We're loading our print. This is a part of having you're in the fast lane, right? Because I have the premium subscription. So here we go. It's gonna then tell us after it's prepared, it's gonna tell us how long we have to go. So just waiting 1 second here. It's taking a sweet little time. So after waiting what seemed to be like an unusually long amount of time, the Glowforge is now ready to be printed. But as you know, I did mention that I was going to actually add in some masking tape over the center section to make sure that when the cuts happened, it didn't actually bleed over and create a bit of a mess. This is just a way to get a kind of a cleaner cut. You'll notice that this is actually kind of a long time, 44 minutes and 4 seconds. And you'll notice this little warning here that says, hey, proof grade material is not found, printing on the wrong material, the wrong settings. That is just a way to actually say, hey guys, we want to make sure that you're actually paying attention to the settings that you're actually using. I looked it up. These are what other people have used. So I'm going to go ahead and go with it. It's just a warning. It's like the, hey, be safe, make sure you've double checked kind of method. Okay, so I'm going to finish up and get ready to print, and then we'll meet you down by the machine. Here's where I am masking down a portion of the cutting board that I'll be engraving. As you can see, the masking tape is not sticking very well on the board.
So at this point, you notice that things are not going already very well when you're looking at the masking tape going down and it's just not sticking. That was my first dead giveaway. And then I started cutting. I thought, oh, I could get away with it anyway. That is the famous last words. And of course, I could not. I had to stop at the beginning of the cut because there was an issue with the tape coming up. And unfortunately, that created a bit of a problem. The next thing I had to do then was I had to go in and add some additional tape around the next phase, which you see in this clip here in this time lapse. And it was just so frustrating. Luckily, I did not move the piece, so I was able to get away with the cut. This is a very dangerous thing to do because just a small move and you've completely ruined the cut already. So I was already taking a chance. As you can see, though, it cut and the masking just keeps coming off. And then next thing you know, you have a complete problem. And then it gets down to the middle of the section and it just does not cut right. And I can't tell why it doesn't do that. But then, as you can see now at the end, we have a complete, not complete, but pretty much complete failure of a board. It still looks okay at a glance. I think I'll still be able to use it, but at the same time, I would never give this to a customer. But I think the moral of the story is that this is going to happen. This is a part of the process. Things are going to screw up. And every time you just have to take some time, revisit this, go back and learn from it and try it again. Luckily, this board was kind of cheap. So here we are. Here's a cutting board that you shouldn't use. And hope you learned something from my failures.